Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting math class here at Algebra 1. Today we are going to talk about some words. Really not a whole lot of algebra to do today. We're just really going to talk about some words. And here's the interesting thing. I tell all my students this: math, or especially algebra, is its own language. You have to learn how to speak algebra. Okay, and so you maybe have English, and maybe Spanish, and maybe some French, and some other languages, but you don't realize that you need to also learn how to speak algebra. Okay, it is a foreign language. And so today we're going to take some time and we're going to look at how we can speak some algebra. And the first thing that we want to do today is look at a property, look at a word, and then it will kind of launch us into today's discussion about words and translation of algebra into English or English into algebra. Okay? All right, so if you look down here at the screen, I'm going to write a word on the screen. And if you have your book, we are on page number 9. Page number 9 if you're watching there. So the word that I'm writing on the screen is commutative. Commutative, okay? It's not commutative, it's commutative, okay? And this is a property. Well, what is a property? Well, a property is kind of like a law. It's a rule, okay? And so this is the commutative rule, the commutative law. And what does the commutative law state? Well, the commutative law states that we can switch things around. We can move things from one side to the other, okay? So here's what that means. If I have, I'll switch the color here and we'll do the addition ones first. So if I have 3 plus 4 equals 7, I can switch the 3 and the 4, and it still equals 7. Wow. It's like magic, right? You're like, dude, poof, mind blown. Okay, it's not really that big of a deal. You've known this your whole life, okay? But you did not know that it was called the commutative property, okay? So you're learning things. Well, in algebra, it works the same way. If I have x plus 4 equals 7, then I could switch those and have 4 plus x equals 7. Okay? It's just, you can switch them. Anytime you have addition, you can switch them and nothing changes. All right, let's go to multiplication. Check this out. What if I have 3 times 4? Well, that equals 12. Can I switch those? I can. 4 times 3 equals 12. Right now you're thinking, come on, I thought you said this class was going to be hard. This is easy. Okay, just wait. All right, so some of this early stuff may be a little bit easy. One of the things that's hard about this right here, though, is it's not this concept is not hard, but what's hard is after we get about 5 or 6 principles is to remember, oh yeah, the commutative principle meant that you can switch them around, so it's a little bit hard because on a quiz or a test you might see like a matching section or something like that, and you have to remember how to match them up and which one is commutative and all that stuff. So it can be a little bit confusing, so make sure that you spend time here really kind of getting this concept. So if we again sub out the 3 for an x, we can put x times 4 equals 12, and then we could switch that to 4 times x equals 12. That's the commutative principle. Now let me show you something about the commutative principle. There's a problem with it. It does not work with subtraction. Check this out. If I have, and I'll switch these, well, I'll do 3 minus 4 equals -1, and then 4 minus 3 equals +1. Well, those aren't the same thing, and I can promise you that, because if I had a positive $1, it's better than having a negative $1. If I have a negative $1, it means I owe somebody $1. And so I would rather have a positive $1 in my pocket. So this one does not work. Subtraction does not work. Let me show you what else does not work. Division does not work. So if I have 12 divided by 3 equals 4. 12 divided by 3 equals 4. Well, check this out. 3 divided by 12 does not equal 4. It actually equals 1. Excuse me. This screen likes to jump around on me a little bit. It actually equals 1/4. Okay? So this does not work either. Division and subtraction are not commutative. They're not commutative. Addition and multiplication, commutative. Okay, it means you can switch them around. Now, that's going to come into play in just a minute. You're going to see some of that here in just a second. But you need to put this kind of into your memory bank, because over the next few lessons we're going to learn more and more properties. So this is just the first one of about 5 or 6 properties that we're going to learn. So be paying attention and make sure that you remember which one's which. Okay, so that's kind of all for that right there. And let's go ahead and look down. If you're in the book, if you look down on page 9 near the bottom, you're going to see table C. And table C is what it does is, again, I was talking about translating algebra into English and translating English into algebra. Well, what we're doing here is we're taking table C, and table C gives us a bunch of words. Now, if you don't have a book with you, I'm going to put up basically a PDF file, and I'll drop this down into the comments on the YouTube channel so you can download this if you want to. This is free for learning purposes. You can use it, no problem. These are clue words, key words, like if you're going to be solving word problems. How do we solve word problems? Well, I'm about ready to blow your mind, okay? I'm about ready to blow your mind. So when you're adding in algebra, when you see are you ready for this? Are you ready? When you see the word add, guess what you do? You add, yes, excellent, you got it, you add. Okay, and so I can't make it any easier than that, okay? But they do get a little bit harder. When you see the word sum, you add. Increase, there's a word maybe that you haven't seen in math before, but to increase is to add to. The word more, okay? The word altogether, plus, total, combined, and then the word perimeter. The word perimeter is not really an algebra word, it's a geometry word, but we'll be using it just a little bit here in algebra class. All right, so again, the adding words. The multiplying words. When you see these words in a story problem, you're going to be multiplying, okay? And so hang on for this first one again. This first one's kind of hard. Multiply. Okay? So product, that's the answer to a multiplication problem. The word of, and notice it says when it's by itself. So when you see the word of, like if it says 1/2 of 20, well, you would multiply 1/2 times 20. 10% of 100. So when you see the word of by itself, that means multiply. Times, double, that means times 2. Triple, times 3. Half, times 1/2. Twice, times 2. And then sometimes when you see area problems, we're going to be multiplying. So those are some key words there. When they want you to solve it, when they want you to answer, give them an answer. They're going to say solve this. They're going to say evaluate this. They're going to say find. They're going to say express. And express means that you can either say it or write it, but basically you're giving them an answer. Calculate. Some of you are so excited about calculators this year. You're like, yes, finally, we get to use a calculator. I've been wanting to use a calculator for so long. Well, this is a little disappointing, but you're really not going to use a calculator that much in Algebra 1. Why not? Because the math isn't really that hard in Algebra 1. You're doing stuff like 10 minus 3. You're doing stuff like 2 times 7. And you don't need a calculator for those things. You will use it, or you can use it, but you're going to find yourself not using it very much. Why? Because you had really good teachers in elementary that helped you be ready for algebra class. Model, solution, simplify. I won't take the time to read all of these words. Equal. Here's an interesting word. When you want to see the equal sign, so this equals. Well, it will use the word equals. Okay. Is, was, were, have. Those are basically tenses of the word is, like past tense, things like that. Same as, the same as. These are different ways to do equals. All right, so now when you're doing subtraction, subtract. Okay, that's the first one. Difference, and that's the answer to a subtraction problem. Remember that. Diminished, you might not know that word, but that means to make smaller. So you're subtracting. Taken, if you take away, you're subtracting. Fewer, that's an important one because you'll see that and maybe you don't know that word very well. Decreased, minus, less, eliminated, deduct. There's a lot of words there. Okay, so pay attention to those subtraction words. Next one's dividing. What are the division words? Divide. Okay, quotient, division, average, distribute, half. This is an interesting little section right here, reverse order, the reverse order. The only one that I'm really going to spend a lot of time on is the word than, and let me show you why. Let me go over here back to this. So if I have the word than, let's say 10 less than 20. 10 less than 20. Well, if you go back here to this thing, it says when you see the word than, you got to do reverse order. Well, what does that mean? What does reverse order mean? Well, here's what it means. You have to take the 10 and the 20, and you have to switch them. Okay? So, watch this. 20 less than, that's minus, 10. Equals, what's 20 minus 10? 10. So think about that. Let's think about this. What is 10 less than 20? Well, if I have 20, what is 10 less than that? What's 10? So if I wouldn't have switched it, look what I would have come up with. 10 minus 20. 10 minus 20 equals negative 10. 10 less than 20 is not negative 10. 10 less than 20 is 10. Be careful with that one. When you see that one over here on that page, make sure that you switch those when you see that word than. I'm not going to talk about the multiplication. The coefficient always comes first, blah, blah, blah. We already talked about coefficient, so you should know that from that one. So, okay, well, that's all I have for you today. Hopefully you learned something, and we'll see you later.